Welcome to the Nuttycast. Today we are super excited to be sitting down with Sara and Doug Taylor, owners of Taylor Chip Cookies. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
This is fun. It's exciting.
Super fun. Super
How many
exciting.
episodes have you done?
Oh man, I don't even know. How many episodes have we done? A couple million?
There's probably like 18-ish.
Nice.
18-ish?
Okay.
Nice.
16, 18.
You are the 19-ish
19-ish one.
Basically a million.
There we go.
Basically a million.
Yeah.
We
Wow,
are,
consistency is key. So you're doing it.
We're lighting up the universe with these podcasts, millions of podcasts. So if you don't know, you're going to find out today. Taylor Chip Cookies makes the best cookies in the world. They are massive. They are ooey gooey delicious. And of course, they have several flavors that are made with our peanut butter. So I wanted to ask the first question here as, what is your perspective on how we met? I have my perspective. I just want to hear, do you remember, how we first met?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't know.
But I have a terrible memory.
Okay.
So
Cool.
please enlighten us
So-
on how we met.
Yes, the story of how we met is...
I don't remember how I met her either. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome. Well, on that note, congratulations. Baby number 2 on the way.
Yes.
So excited for you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we know that it's a boy.
It's a boy, yeah.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys are great.
Boys are great. So anyway, perspective of how we first met. So I am a sales guy for Nutty Novelties. Part of my job is to sell peanut butter. And so I actually was reaching out to another local business in Lancaster City, a juice company. And that company did not work out. They were like, we don't use peanut butter, get away from me. But that lady said, actually, do you know Taylor Chip Cookies? I was like, no, who the heck is that?
Who was the juice company?
At the time, I was naive.
Was it
I don't even remember. I don't remember.
Was it like smoothie bowls or something?
It was literally just juice.
Oh, just juice.
Yeah,
Huh.
like vegetable and fruit juice. In Lancaster City, right along, what is it? Lancaster Pike there, I think. Kind of near that Ula Bowls.
Fruitville Pike. Oh, what's her? What, she was in the market with us.
Oh, yes. Okay, this is coming back to me now.
Okay.
Yes, she
Yes.
was in the market with us.
That sounds familiar.
But is she still not in the strip mall?
Or you
don't know? Okay.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't
Okay.
know if she's still there or not.
Yeah.
Semantics, I guess.
Semantics. Yeah. And she said, you should try Taylor Chip Cookies. I know about them, and they're right up the road over there. You should try to talk to them. I think they use a lot of peanut butter. And so I did. I just walked in. I don't think I talked to you right away. I think I just dropped off samples and was like, hey, we're a local peanut butter company. We make fresh, natural peanut butter. And after a few follow-ups, you were like, yeah, let's try it out. And you went for it. And to my surprise, you went for the cleanest of the clean. You didn't even want salted peanut butter. You wanted peanuts only.
Yeah.
So why did you say yes to that? Because a lot of dessert companies that I talk to ice cream shops and other baked goods all the time. And they're like, you know what? We just want the cheapest of the cheap. Give us the palm oil peanut butter. Give us the nasty ingredients. We just want the cheapest of the cheap. And if that's not you, we're not interested.
Yeah.
So why did you say yes to a high-end thing?
Well, it's always been super important to both of us, and just kind of how I was raised too. I was raised eating pretty clean.
Mhm.
So we had an acre garden, would butcher our cows, and, had chickens. And so I carried that into our marriage, and you kind of had the same viewpoint too. And we thought, we're going to be eating these cookies all the time. So I'm not going to eat a palm oil cookie all the time, like maybe on special occasions, right? So we just wanted to base our company off of our core values.
Yeah, I mean, internally, we always say we would not want you to eat anything we ourselves wouldn't be comfortable eating. And so that is one aspect. The other aspect is, from my stance and the food science side and all of that stuff, is you want to control every ingredient. And so, because if you're relying on a proprietary blend at any point of your process, you're relying on whoever controls the proprietary blend, and their pricing can go up and down. And so just like we're building a protein cookie right now, every aspect of that protein cookie is the raw form. Every ingredient is in the most raw form you can buy, because then you can help better control the pricing. You can control your blend, your recipe, and because things happen. And so you want to be able to know exactly how each individualized ingredient works within your recipe. And so
But there was two other aspects to that too. So you guys are local to us, which is pretty
Of
cool.
course.
So using local companies. And the other aspect to that was we were using a company that would ship us peanut butter in the jars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
so
remember that.
I was like scraping peanut butter out of each tiny, what is
Yes.
that, like a
Wow.
16-ounce jar?
Yes.
And you guys had the tubs. I
Yeah.
think we started, and we were
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is revolutionary.
we have
They
to scoop like
tubs.
10 times less now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was
That was the other
that
thing.
was
that
awesome.
like, why would
and
we not do this?
We were using
Wow.
them because they were super clean.
Yeah.
They had like the peanuts,
Yep.
like the crunchy peanuts side, and
Oh, we
they're-
used to use crunchy peanuts in our
yeah, we
peanut
used to
butter
use.
cookie.
Now it's all
Yeah.
creamy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you guys had crunchy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We have
that
crunchy,
we were
yeah.
originally using, but I don't think we do anymore.
No, we use creamy.
We use creamy because
Yeah.
people got crunchy. The feedback on the crunchy wasn't as good.
They got all crunched out.
They
Yeah.
all got all
Yeah,
crunched out.
that's
But
fair.
like we were buying these because they were like the cheapest peanut butter that we could really find, but it was so annoying basically, and anything else that was in that price range, it was a little cheaper. It was like the Hershey's and stuff like that. And we just didn't want to use.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys came in with at the right price point too.
Sure.
And
Yep.
yeah, so it made sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that perspective, guys. I didn't know like half of that. So
Yeah.
that's great to hear. So let's talk about the protein cookie. Why are we excited about the protein cookie?
Why are we? Well, because we're gonna be making a peanut butter version of.
Okay,
protein
that's
cookie,
exciting.
So.
That's going to be super high in protein.
Super high protein.
Yeah. Well, it depends on. We got to limit the fat too. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. The question was why? What was the?
Yeah, like you're launching this new protein cookie. Why is it different from what you've been doing? And just why are we excited about it?
Well, we're super
wanna
excited
talk
about it because we do obviously own a dessert company. We sell ice cream too, which has your peanut butter in it too, by the way.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Let's go. I haven't
Yep.
had any of it yet. I need to
Oh,
get
wow.
my hands
Okay,
on that.
yeah.
What locations? This is good. What locations have the ice cream? right
York
now?
and Philly.
York and
So
Philly.
far,
Yep.
but soon, all of the locations
Yes.
will.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so we've been working for the last like 4 years on kind of slowly dropping the cookie side of things and going more towards the dessert experience. And Sarah and I have always wanted to do a protein cookie because we hate all the protein bars and stuff. Everything that's protein has like modified palm oil, and it just leaves you cotton mouthy, and it's just gross.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to do it. It's been in the works for a while, and the whole thing was we didn't want to sacrifice flavor and taste just to get like a better macro thing. And so we finally done it to the point where it's like, this is actually incredible. Like I like them as much as our regular cookies, but it's something I can have for breakfast because it's like 30 grams of protein. It's 13 grams of fat, 380 calories, and 32 carbs. So it's like the perfect breakfast. And so I eat it almost every day for breakfast. And so I think it's just, I'm very excited about it from like building a habit. Like people can like, including myself, I only have a cookie a few times a week. Versus I can have these every day and feel good about it and it not affect like going to the gym or our diet or anything like that.
Yeah, so we've both always loved sweets, obviously, but we've also both always weight trained. So
Yeah.
we enjoy going to the gym. We eat very high protein. So that's just it's just an extension of what we're passionate about.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, coming soon, the protein cookie from Taylor Chip.
Yep.
Yes.
Coming in hot.
And the push-up butter flavor.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Push-up butter. OMG. I love that name. Let's go.
It's chocolate chisel for chocolate chip, muscle mommy for the chocolate one,
Yes.
Because I love chocolate.
Yes.
And then-
Muscle Mommy's a great name.
Yeah.
and then push-up butter for peanut butter, and then cinnamon buns.
Yes.
Our cinnamon bun flavor. That's right.
Guys, that is so funny. Wow. So there's more flavors coming out. than
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
You have the original.
The chocolate chip is finished, and we're taking that to the fancy food show.
Oh, great. We'll see you guys there.
Are you going to be
yeah,
there?
we'll be there.
Oh,
Nice.
incredible.
Yeah, you guys won't be far from us. We're, you're in the PA pavilion.
Yeah.
At the
What's
Fancy
your
Food
goal?
Show.
What's your goal with it?
What's our goal
Yeah.
at the show?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great question. Obviously meet new wholesalers, get more wholesale customers. But we were there last year. It was just such a great learning experience. Like we got to see what other brands are doing, and like, wow, that's a good idea. We need to consider that. Like maybe there's a trend that we're not aware about, or we saved a lot of money too from suppliers and packaging, and that's worth its weight in gold too. If you can save money,
Yeah.
on a packaging or a material or something, like that's almost as good as like 10 sales.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep.
is this your first time at the show?
First time doing any show like this because
Yep.
we just
Fantastic.
haven't had the wholesale side built out, so there's been no reason to really go.
Right.
And
Right.
so now, yeah, so I'm excited. That's an exciting perspective.
Yeah, that is a good perspective.
Honestly, like finding suppliers that can save you money on packaging, all
And
of
just
that
new
stuff.
ideas.
And new ideas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never thought about that.
Connections.
Yep.
Don't be disappointed if it's not like sales on the spot, because
Yeah.
it's not necessarily that way. It's more like, and somebody told me this in the lobby like before the show. Like I was excited to like make sales and get POs like at the show.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily how it is. You could. But it's more so like connecting and like, oh, I made this connection 6 months ago and now they're ordering.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yep.
Anyway, so I have one question that I want to mix in a curveball real quick. I was going to save it till the end, but
Oh,
I'm so
no.
excited to hear the answer that I can't wait.
I'm scared.
What is the weirdest DM you guys have ever received? Either an email or a DM on Instagram.
Oh, man.
What's the weirdest like
Oh.
reach out you guys have gotten?
I know.
I'm sure there's
one.
like 100.
The McDonald's one.
McDonald's one?
Remember it? The McDonald's, the person emailed a picture. You can tell the story because this is why Dougie doesn't take care of
I don't do
customer
customer
service.
service anymore.
I mean,
Uh-oh.
it was usually me, and now we have somebody doing it.
He was there. This was in our earlier days, like around 21,
Yeah.
and someone messaged us with a picture from our website and a picture of the cookie that they got, and it looked slightly different. Even though all of the pictures on our website, the cookies are not made special.
Yeah.
We take them from our board and we take pictures of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's one thing. Like we've never made. Here's a special batch for pictures.
Uh-huh.
Like we're too busy. We just
Right.
take what's
course.
there and take pictures of it. And she was just going on, and I was like, "How was the cookie?" She's like, "Good, but it wasn't." Anyway, it just I still had logged into our customer service account.
He's not anymore.
I'm not anymore.
He's locked up.
Yeah.
And so I forget what happened.
You replied.
I just replied, like, I think I replied very nicely and kindly. She was a little bit of a B word. And so I just replied one word, McDonald's.com.
McDonald's.com.
Well, because if you look at their website,
Their website.
and then you get a burger,
and then you get a burger.
like the picture quality is obviously.
Like they're doctoring that stuff. Like that.
Yeah.
The picture
Yes.
quality is. And she got so mad she reported us to like the consumer protection something or another. and then someone from the state like messaged us and were like, "Would you consider giving a refund?" I was like, "No."
No, we're good.
I don't want that customer back, and she's not getting her money back either because here's our terms, conditions, everything. Sure. Now we've grown a lot.
we have.
We are way better. I mean, well, that I don't know. I'm not signed into customer service, so we're better at customer service now.
That's so funny.
But yeah, I mean, now it's like we kind of take the stance of just like, okay, we actually have like we're growing a little bit. Like, just believe the customer.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely people that will be fraudulent. They'll try to get you something for free.
Yeah.
Those people have to deal with that on their end,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll reship, refund, and hopefully repeat customers.
Yeah, call it a day.
And then hopefully they come back. The goal is just to make people happy, and I think even if you're the biggest a-hole ever, if a company goes out of their way, like those people all turn into your biggest promoters sometimes.
Yep.
And so that's kind of what we do now.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's a good perspective on that. Love it. So McDonald's.com.
Yeah,
You heard
McDonald's.com.
it here.
That might be the best one.
The message of the day.
Made her,
Yeah.
made her mad.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay, so we were talking a little bit before we turned the mics on about growth and how much you guys have grown recently, and you guys are launching this new protein cookie into stores, lots of stores, hopefully soon. And you guys have opened lots of locations. You've launched ice cream in these locations. With all this growth recently, what has surprised you, good and bad?
Well, I mean, from my side, I think we got really lucky when we started the business, or blessed when we started the business to where we would bet the farm, and we've done that quite a few times, and to the point where we're like out of money and this thing has to work, and it always exceeded our expectations. And I think what I've learned is sometimes that doesn't happen. And so the last time we bet the farm, our expectations and timeline were not exceeded. They were cut in a quarter, and the timeline took a year and a half longer than we thought it would. And so that almost killed our company. Like,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even like, are we going to lose our house?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. 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 Sometimes you
farm.
get sick of mortgaging your house. So I think that's like, people think, oh, you're growing really fast. That's really cool. But it's also like, you have to be a psychopath, I think, at a certain point.
A little bit.
To want to even start a business, but then to decide you want to be one of the fastest growing businesses in the country and not have any investors or backers. It teaches you a lot about faith. And so that's the side that I think people don't really see.
Yeah, for sure. They just see your company growing, or they see
They
this
think
or
you're
that,
growing or whatever. Like,
but they
oh,
don't see the behind the scenes. Even though I feel like we do share a good amount on social media.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't own a business yourself, you're never going to fully understand what it's like to be in those positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
there's been times where we have almost $1 million in the bank, and then there's times like now where we're $2 million in debt, right? Where it's like, and the beauty about growing so fast is those swings can happen in a month,
Literally,
literally a month. Like
Right.
like I can sign a deal with Target and receive a PO, and my life is changed, and so. Like, I've just found out about myself personally, I'm a compulsive gambler. And so I need to be gambling, and sometimes I gamble too much.
In an
But
educated way.
I'm very good at gambling.
Yeah.
So I know
Yes.
so my wins outweigh my losses, and so we're at a net positive.
Right.
But it's just like, it's very much like, I want to grow this thing to, $1 billion company, and I don't want to be 70 when it hits that. I want to be in my 30s. And so we need to do that. We need to make decisions that align with that.
The past 8 months, which has probably been like, it feels like it's been the hardest in our company because that's kind of like, I guess, the newest season that we're in. It has been very much, wait, what was I going to say?
The last 8 months have been you're probably going to talk about how hard the last 8 months have been.
No, I was going to say something along with that. I don't
She's
remember.
pregnant.
Sorry, I'm pregnant. Pregnancy.
You get a pass.
Pregnancy brain.
You get a pass for so many reasons.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll think of it.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd love to ask a follow-up question about the faith piece because, I'm a follower of Jesus as well. So we try to run our business grounded in faith, my brother and I. So you mentioned like how people don't necessarily understand like the steps of faith that it takes to bet the farm in a business like this. Can you let us know a little bit more about like how you guys stay grounded? Like maybe there's a verse that you guys remember, or how does just your faith like inform what you guys are doing?
I think we've always, well, first of all, we're very like active in our prayer life, and just like trying to seek the Lord. And I think with Philly, there was like a time there where it was like I was postpartum and there's just a lot of things going on. And so maybe we didn't do the best in that season of life. But I feel like we've always just been like, Lord, the active, like I said, in our prayer life, and just, close the door if it's not of you. Like we don't want it if it's not where we're supposed to go. So
Yeah, I did.
and open the doors if it is.
And he's really, every time something good happens, it's because of an opportunity that came, including our cookies. Like this was not our plan. There was no master plan. It was just like, we were pushed into it, literally.
Yeah.
Like we were just making cookies for fun as a way to, get to know each other during dating, and then
And stay pure, of course.
Yeah, keep us out of trouble.
And ironically, you use the pure peanut butter.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how that came full circle?
That's awesome.
Purity to pure peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, before I had anything, because I grew up, my parents were not well off, like very much in debt, like, just like very low, like $40,000 household income, 3 kids.
Same, except my parents just manage their money a bit better.
Yeah, a bit better than mine.
But, yeah.
And so not having any money or opportunities or knowing people, it's always been, I just believe that like there is no reason you can't make it, especially in America. Like there's no reason that you can't make it. It does not take money to make money. It takes time and grit. But during this whole thing, after high school, I did on the road construction where I was making like 70 grand, scale work and it was good pay for a 19-year-old, but I hated my life. And so I prayed that I asked God to get me out of that before my birthday, because I had never quit anything in my life, and I didn't feel like I had the right to quit that job because I didn't have something lined up. So I just asked God to get me out of it. They laid me off the day before my birthday.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said, now the caveat to that was I promised that if the Lord would get me out of there, and I was a very hard worker, so it wasn't that, but it was like, if the Lord would get me out of there, I would do a 40-day fast if he did it.
Wow.
Yeah, before my birthday. So they called me into the office, laid me off the day before my birthday.
Wow.
And so I did a 40-day fast during that.
You did a 40-day fast then?
Yeah, I was into fasting a lot. So it wasn't, the first 2 weeks was just water. And then after that, I did like about 500 calories of different juices. It was hard. It was hard. But during that time, I made the stupid mistake of basically saying, Lord, if I'm not following you, remove success from my life.
Wow.
For my entire life.
That's bold.
Yeah, I didn't know how bold. I didn't really know what I was doing. That's why I said it was stupid. But I really think he will honor that throughout my life. Like, I don't see success happening without him. And, that means maintaining, my family, making sure that my values are aligned with what biblically is spoken about, and putting family first and all of that stuff. And I've felt times where I've done things that have not been sanctioned because they made financial sense, where the Lord said, hey, if you do this, your business will not grow next year. And I was like, well, no, it makes like, this was like with cars and things like that. Like, I loved cars. It's always been a dream. And to have like these supercars and things. And so I found a way to basically profit driving them. And so it made financial sense to do it. When I was putting in my order for my first one, the Lord said, if you do this, your business will not grow. And I heard it in almost an audible way, the same way I have heard any type of direction from God in my life, which I'm very hard-headed. So it's usually like very blunt. And so I got the car because it made financial sense. And I just took it over like we had never done any debt before. So 300,000 of debt sounded like crazy, but I chalked it up to like my personal fear and tried to reason my way out of my intuition or what God was telling me. And over the year after that, we lost $1 million from our top line. And we did not get back to where we were before I got the car until the month after I sold the car.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So that is just like a story of, how we run the business, and also God's faithfulness to my request to him in my ignorance.
And the literal miracles that have happened over the past 8 months too.
Yeah, there's so many miracles that happen all the time. I mean, we have 65 grand of payroll every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And there's times where we don't have 65 grands, and there's times when the 65 grand shows up. Right.
The past couple months, we haven't even been on payroll.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing that, people don't see if they're like not a business owner that,
Yeah. They think it's just the money just comes in, and this money's going right into your pocket. They don't realize you have costs before you get that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're scaling, right? It's just, I think all entrepreneurs get to a certain size in business where they're like making money, like they're bringing home 20, 30, 40%. As a service-based company will bring home 50, 60%. And then they're like, man, I love this. This is great. I'm making 200,000, 800,000 a year take home. let's grow this thing. And to go from 3 million to 10 million is going to cost you 20 million.
Yeah.
And that's one thing people don't realize is like the systems, the processes, the people, the mistakes.
We didn't realize.
Of course we didn't.
Yeah.
realize.
We had no clue. Yeah.
We wouldn't have done it. So,
Yeah.
and then you get too far in where you're like, your back's against the wall and you have no choice but to grow
Yeah.
after making that decision. And so and then once you get to that 10 million, you can use that to get to your 50 million. And then by the time you're at your 50 million, you either have investors or capital to take the make the next scaling move. And so then it becomes every phase gets a little easier. And then once you hit the 100 million in revenue, that's when you've kind of figured out what your market is and how big you can make calculations as to how big this thing can be. And then it's pretty clockwork on scaling up through there. It's what I've found and seen with friends. So
Wow. That's awesome. Thank you guys for sharing your perspective on that. Okay, guys, go on to taylorchip.com, get yourself some awesome Taylor Chip cookies, and they are very generously giving you a 20% discount if you enter code NUTTY20 on their website. So go get it.
in association with Nutty Novelties, which if you go to nuttynovelties.com and order off their website, they're doing a discount for us for 10% off Taylor Chip 10.
Bingo.
Enter it at the checkout, nuttynovelties.com.
Here's another question for you. I think we're probably, it seems like we could talk forever.
Yeah.
Which I would love to continue doing at some point. But another question for you is, what's it like running a business with your spouse? What are the ways? Because that seems hard.
Yeah.
Like, you guys you're not only a married couple, but you're also business partners.
Yep.
So what's that like? How do you guys challenge each other, compliment each other? Let us in on that a little bit.
Well, I think from the start, like both of us were always like divorce is just like not an option because we started Taylor Chip about a year after we got married, opened up the market stand. So, and we always did everything together. And the first couple years were definitely hard or first year or two maybe, because we were mixing cookie dough together and we are complete opposites. So we have different ideas of how we're going to do things. We're running into each other. Literally, we could be standing in the same spot for 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden we both move and we're knocking into each other. So in the beginning, it was definitely like challenging, but I do always say, I feel like what we learned in the first couple years of running a company together, we learned what most couples would learn in like 10 years of marriage or 15 years
Right.
of marriage,
Yeah.
because we were
Condensed.
forced to. Yeah.
Yes.
So I thought it was a blessing.
Cool.
I do too. I mean, like you always end up marrying a complete opposite of yourself, right? And I think that's a testimony to like what marriage is and how God set it up, right? Because we are created in His image, male and female both, which means that He has the likeness of both of us. And so then that's really what marriage is bringing back the fullness of the nature and reflection of God, right? That is the union. That's why it's so special. And so a lot of times you are put in, she has every aspect of God's nature that I don't have. And so together, we're full. And so I find it to be such a blessing and the challenge is for us individualized people to learn how to rely on each other in those differences instead of have that be a tension point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we work on like complete opposite areas of the company too. So
Right.
it's gotten, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Easier.
We work really well not together.
Yeah.
Together, not together.
Too,
Because we're just doing different things. If I'm managing the floor or like like doing audits on what Paul is doing or something like that, like I'm gonna be like, you're good. Like versus Sarah's like, people aren't going fast enough.
Yeah.
and I'm just like really good at being efficiently lazy, and so I don't know what. Yeah.
We always say too, like when we started the company, the first couple years we were working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks, but we were together.
Yeah.
And so if it was something that he would have started and he was working that much, it's really hard. It can be hard for the wife to like understand.
Yeah.
And so it was like such a blessing to be able to build together and just be working 24/7 together.
The understanding is there because of that.
Yeah.
Which is a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. And you get to go through the journey together. It's
Yeah.
not like,
Yeah.
just Doug is coming home after 100 hours
Yep.
a week. Like, he gets to do it with you.
Yeah.
Like,
When,
I mean,
when
now
we
it's-
have to mortgage the house,
Yeah.
it's a together decision.
Yeah.
yes.
And there's
yes.
understanding as to why.
Yep.
Now
yes.
it's more like he does work a lot, but I do have that understanding. So it's
Right.
Yeah. And I think I'm
Incredible.
still learning the understanding that she wants to be more focused on
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom. And sometimes I get resentful about that because she's just so good at what she does.
Yeah. Why does she have to be so darn
Yeah.
good?
And so it's like, it's so hard to replace you. And so I'm just like,
But you
and
also,
so it's like,
I think you do want me to be home with
I do.
our children too. So you like,
because
it's
she's
this
good at
battle.
that too. But it is a battle because it's like the only reason why we've been able to scale continually and continue to grow is because on the back end she's doing everything. Right? I'm the vision. I build the marketing teams and like the branding and this stuff and like all of that. We do all the sales, but like she's fulfilling. I can't fulfill anything. I
I just make
useless.
promises. I don't
I just make
fulfill.
promises. I don't. Yeah.
Hey, Sarah,
Exactly.
you got to fulfill this promise I made, just so
Yeah,
you know.
literally, that's how it's always gone.
But what's been great is Paul, our manager, who we have now. Who
He took my
you've
position.
talked to a lot.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
He's probably tried to negotiate price with you once or twice.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
He's
smart.
great at
Good,
that.
That's
good.
okay. That's okay. I get it. Got some samples for him today. Well,
There we go.
We'll
There
get
we
him on
go.
our side
I
here.
love that.
So he's been incredible for our business. He's really taken ownership, and I really feel like now, after 6 years, we actually have like the founding team
Yeah.
that can like grow and go.
We have like
Nice.
4 core people plus us.
Yeah.
That are just amazing.
And then
solid.
4 people around those core
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like an extension of you guys. They're a part of the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah, they
'Cause
really
this
are.
is- Like, this business is like almost one and the same with your marriage in a way.
Yeah.
And your family, your life. Like, the people who you have are like your family.
Yeah.
So it's a
Absolutely.
huge part of it. I wish we could talk so much
Yeah.
longer. You guys are such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and you guys have been through like more in just a few years what like most people have gone through in like an entire lifetime. So thank you so much for this conversation. Here's one last question to ponder. If your daughter were running Taylor Chip in 20 years, what would you hope has stayed the same, and what would you hope is different?
Well, first of all, I feel like you can always get better in every aspect of your business. So stay the same. I think both of us really enjoy our culture that we have now. We've just always wanted to have like a positive, uplifting, inviting culture. Also, there's hard work to that that comes too.
Sure.
But we have so much fun, and we really do feel like our team now is just absolutely amazing. But I think that can always improve. So I would say that for me, like the culture, the same but improving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that we want the culture to improve and grow. I'm going through such a perspective shift on this right now. I've always not wanted our kids
Yeah, I
to
was
do
gonna say that.
anything with our business. I feel like I'm building this because these are the tools in my toolbox, what I can do, and I'm gonna maximize that to build a launching pad for them to have better opportunities. Not that this isn't great. Like, I'm very grateful for this, which is why I'm saying I'm going through a perspective shift. Like, you look at the Chick-fil-A's, or like I just met the CEO of Hanover Foods.
Wow.
He's 5th generation, 100 years in business. Like, you can really build a legacy. But yeah, I don't know. I think
You're always like, I want my kids to build their own thing.
I want them to
Right.
experience.
Right.
I want them to, if this is where God has them, and they feel called to
Yeah.
be here, then that's great. But I don't want them to feel like they have to stay around Lancaster or build a Taylor Chip or like whatever. Like, I want them
Right.
to have complete autonomy in
Yeah.
their decisions. So
Wow. Love it.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for this conversation.
Yeah, this has been so fun.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thanks so much for being on the Nutty Cast.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you. And as always,
Stay nutty. Love it.